Alright, my name is Gregory Pavlioglu, and this is my EDUC18 final project for ethnomathematics in different cultures or field of study showcase. So the purpose of this project is to provide students the opportunity to show that we actually did learn something in this class and we took something with us in this class, and show that we have like a deeper understanding what ethnomathematics is and have an appreciation for the role that it plays like in everyday lives and everything like that. So when I was looking through the options of what I wanted to do my final project on, I was debating doing it on like an icosahedron, I think is how you pronounce it, or I was thinking about doing an origami bonsai tree. I've never dabbled in like origami in my life before, so it was something that was going to be completely new to me. So that was something I was very worried about, because I wasn't sure how I would I wasn't sure how I would be able to make it, especially since I'm just not really really creative. I'm not really good at drawing. I'm not good at coloring, painting, anything like that. And I'm not too good at math anyways. I feel like my strong suits are like history and English. So my final product, I'm happy with how it turned out, but for other people it might not be something they are really proud of, but I'm proud of what it was. I was able to make, let me find the correct name for it. It's an icosahedron, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically a modular icosahedron, and I found this video on YouTube that basically helps steps to step. And the way that it worked was I got multicolored paper and I would cut it up to specific width and length, and I would have to fold it, and I'd have to do this to 30 or 40 pieces. I think my final product has around 55, 60 pieces, and I don't think I used any glue, and I had to do one tape at the end because it started to fall apart. But this is something I'm really proud of myself for being able to make, because it's the first time I've ever made something like that. And at first I wanted to incorporate a Koch snowflake from the Math and Nature and Fractals article that we read, because it was something interesting. And as I was looking through that article and thinking about making a snowflake, I saw these triangles, and then I was looking at the examples that you showed us that other students have done. So then I tried thinking of something to do with this triangle or a square, and I was looking at how symmetrical these other things were, and I decided to do something like that. At first I want to do a bonsai tree. That would make sense with the Math and Nature Fractals article as well, because a bonsai tree is part of nature, and you can kind of see how the math and everything is just structured out that way. But I strayed away with it and went with this icosahedron instead. And the article by Eleanor Robinson, titled "The Uses of Mathematics in Ancient Iraq, 6600 BC." Well, basically, this article talks a lot about symmetry and how these potteries and how these potterists, the people that molded this, they were able to make everything so symmetrical and perfect, and the colors, they all bounced off with each other, and they followed these patterns, and it was something really cool. I think that was my favorite actual article that we read in this class. And it was something so simple and not big details. It would be while the pottery is spinning, one stroke would be able to make it perfectly symmetrical. And so I went with 3 colors here. I went with white because I feel like white goes perfectly with everything. And then I went with green and blue here because those are some of my favorite colors as well. And each one is put in a specific way from what I followed the video's directions and everything like that. So I was able to do it. And the video, interestingly enough, said that it might come out as a different shape every once in a while. And this was honestly something really hard to do, because after cutting up the pieces and putting them all together and folding them was really a big hard process for this, because it was super hard to get them to go into each correct spot. It was something that was very difficult for myself, at least. I think I was able to independently and creatively complete a task. I think it was something I was actually able to do by myself, and I'm proud of it. I didn't go online and copy something. I didn't go and make someone else do it. If I had someone else do it, it probably would have turned out a lot nicer. But I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, especially I used no glue, so that was something really hard as well. So basically in that article, it talked about how the symmetrical and the colors really bounced off of each other, and that's something I really wanted to do as well, especially with the Mayan article as well. We were able to see how all these colors and architecture and everything was used by math, and it's not something I ever really thought of before until this class. And that's something even with origami, you don't really think of origami as something to have something so much math in it, but once you actually like do it yourself, you realize that each individual piece needs to be a specific size. You need to fold it a specific angle, and you need to connect them specifically as well. So that was something really interesting as well. So the morning of me like waking up with the final project in mind and gonna be doing it, that was 3 days ago, I think, because I'm recording this on the 10th. So that was around the 7th. As I chose what to do with my final project, I woke up kind of eager, but I was still kind of nervous. I watched the YouTube video beforehand, like the night before, so I kind of knew what to expect. But as I watched that YouTube video and then I tried following along, I realized it was a lot harder than I thought. I think just on that, I spent like 30 minutes just actually cutting the pieces out for it and getting them the specific size, because it really is like just a lot of time consuming work. And then after that, I pretty much, for like another 30 minutes, I was folding them, maybe even up to an hour. I was like folding them around, getting them to the perfect shapes. And then I think the most time consuming part was like getting it started and putting them into place, because each one needs to like fold into another one. So that was something really difficult for me to do. It came out to be a really big hassle, especially because I like kept messing up and I had to keep like restarting, which really sucked. I would get really like frustrated at times, but thankfully I didn't wait until last minute to do this, or else I don't think I'd be able to get it done, to be honest. I was really like getting frustrated at myself. And yeah, so it was really hard, but I was able to get it through. And honestly, I'm happy with how it turned out. And it kind of looks like a heart. If you see the shape, it's like circular. I have this one box right here. Kind of turned out to end up looking like a box, but I mean, I did my best, and I think I have an appreciation for the role that math has across different kind of cultures. And it's interesting because the two articles I chose, they are differently cultured as well. I chose one where I was reading the Mayan one, and that one caught my eye a lot. And then this one about the one that I was talking about from the 6,600 BC, with how everything is symmetrical, everything is perfectly even, and all the colors like correlate and correspond with each other, was something. So yeah, I'm very thankful that the video was super smooth to follow, and I'm really proud with how this turned out. Especially because I am doing school full-time and I am working full-time, so I don't really have all the time in the world. So on my day off, I was able to do it as well. And usually I still have to watch my grandpa on my days off, but thankfully he was just passed out this day, and I was able to just crank this whole thing out in one sitting, which I'm super happy about. And yeah, it was something very tedious, but it did turn out good. I think I did a pretty good job on it. I think this project was all about like getting out of our comfort zone, and this is definitely something that I didn't expect to be our final project, but I'm really glad it was, and it's kind of strayed away from the traditional like multiple choice essay kind of thing. So I'm really proud of how this turned out. And one more thing I wanted to mention is I see this project as valuable because it really does demonstrate that we did learn something, especially with architecture and stuff like that. I really do see how math has just been used around different cultures for different things, and it's really interesting to think about. So here's a full 360 of it. Here's the part where it was falling apart and I needed tape. But this did take me around like 4 to 5 hours, which honestly is like, now that I'm thinking about it, it's almost the size of my head. So it's not too small, but I am proud of how it turned out. So yeah, thank you for this class, and I hope you have a wonderful day.